Hello, Pigeon River. We miss so much the opportunities to be together in person as Christ's body. And we're encouraged by the steps forward this week to allow groups of 10 or less to meet in person while practicing social distancing. This means that staff will be resuming office hours and that meetings of 10 or less may resume at the church. With this, we request the following. As always, please contact Emily to reserve space and avoid double booking. If you're sick, please stay home. Symptoms to consider include a temperature over 100, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, chills, muscle pain, sore throat, recent loss of taste or smell, upset stomach, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. To help us in tracking our cleaning needs of the building, please sign in at the door with your name, date, and time in the primary area of the church in which you are in. Please bring your own beverages and practice social distancing while you're in the church building. It also means that it's time for us to share with you our plan for reopening in-person worship. The elders have worked with the health advisory team and ministry chairs to develop a 5-phase plan for reopening in-person worship, all the while maintaining our online presence. Before I go more deeply into the plan itself, allow me to share some of our assumptions in creating this plan. First, our assumptions of faith. God is in control and God's will prevails despite our circumstances. God instructs us to trust and to walk in wisdom rather than in fear. God instructs us to put the good of others above ourselves. God invites us to join in his kingdom building work regardless of the circumstances that surround us. And God calls us to be people of outreach, even in a time in which it would be natural for us to become insular. Now, some assumptions about our structure. We believe that our reopening plan should create predictable structure for an unpredictable and fluid time. Thus, the following is an adaptable sketch rather than a hard and fast blueprint. Due to our size, we're seeking the right balance between reopening at the level we're allowed with providing equitable ministry to all. The focus of our reopening plan is creating guideline appropriate means for fellowship and community, knowing that the content is available regardless. And finally, we now have 2 worship campuses, our physical church campus that we meet in person, and our virtual online campus. For various reasons, we recognize that not everyone will choose to participate in one or more of the phases of our reopen. With this, we choose to remain intentionally invitational in our posture. Our virtual campus will remain available for everyone throughout this, and we'll be supportive of people's choices to opt into the campus and phases in which they feel most comfortable. Now to the plan itself. As I mentioned, it's a 5-phase reopening plan, and these phases are based on home fellowship gatherings. Phase 1 is the forming and the beginning of meeting of those home fellowships. We'll be establishing groups of 10 or less, made up of 2 or 3 families and singles, and this will be done by a voluntary sign-up questionnaire. The information received will be used to create the groups. Those who have not signed up will be invited to join groups. The groups will then meet in homes of the family who is able to host a group of 10 or less and able to play the online worship service. They'll meet on Sunday mornings to watch the online service together, and then after the service to discuss how God spoke to them through that service. And then also to spend some time in prayer together, discerning who they might invite to come and join them when we move on to phase 2. The worship service then remains as an online pre-recorded service. Sunday school will remain for children and youth on Zoom and for adults through Right Now Media. And we'll continue to have our weekly online check-in via Zoom. Meetings at the church can resume with the allowable number of participants. Whenever possible, we encourage people to worship and fellowship outside, as we understand this to reduce the risk of exposure to the virus. We do continue to encourage people to use masks and to practice social distancing. And we recognize the risk that's involved in singing together, as that can increase the exposure to the virus. In phases 2 through 4, we combine together a couple of home fellowships to meet in the space here at church for worship, while the remaining home fellowships worship in their homes. And so this will develop a schedule of which home fellowships will come together on a given Sunday to worship here at the church, while others continue to meet in their home fellowships. Phase 5 then is the opening of worship to everyone, with any necessary adaptations that still may need to happen. There's lots more detail to this, but I hope this gives you a helpful overview of our plan moving forward. You'll receive an email soon with a link to a Google form expressing interest in participating in a home fellowship. If you have any questions, please contact me or one of our elders. We'd be happy to talk with you. We look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, be well, be blessed, remember who you are and whose you are.